What is up guys, Speed here, and today I'm bringing you a video about a topic I thought was very important and that I really want to talk about. So, this was an unranked game I played recently. Definitely not a super high skill game, but there was a point in the game where I felt like I learned something or an idea came into my mind that is very, very important and can be applied to every single bracket of Dota. So, I just want to kind of rant about this a little bit. I'm going to try to make it as brief and straightforward as possible, but basically what I want to talk about is how to help your mid laner snowball his advantage. Now, you're going to have games in which your mid is going to win. Now, of course, contrary to popular belief, this is actually true, right? You can have mid laners that actually win their lane. I know it never seems like it in your pubs, but the point is, how do you actually help them snowball? Because what you'll see here is, I get ganked mid, right? And this chain effect happens, where it actually snowballs. I mean, it kind of cancels out my progress a little bit, where they gank me mid, I live, I'm okay. And then what ends up happening is my whole team shifts mid. Now, this is not good for a few reasons, right? What my PA should be doing is taking advantage of all the space that I'm making, right? A farmed mid laner wants, or should want at the least, his safe laner to be farming, especially if it's a hero like PA or TB, or any of these scaling cores in particular that need their item timings, right? They want you to be farming if you're the safe lane player. So what happens is, when you show up to these mid fights, it really cancels out a lot of the impact that I can have, or what I mean to say is a mid laner can have in terms of making space, right? A very important concept in Dota is that if you take a fight in the bottom lane and it drags 4 heroes there, even if you lose the fight, let's say it's a 2-0, but their hard carry dies, something of the sort, or their hard carry is at least not farming, or gets no kills, like driven out of the fight, then it's not that bad of a fight, for the main reason that, in that case, your safe laner will be farming on the opposite side of the map, and you have naturally dragged everyone top, right? Bottom. If you take a fight bottom as 4, the reason why 4-manning is so effective with the hard carry is because the enemy team has to make a decision. Run at the enemy safe laner, or lose their towers, right? So essentially, if people don't understand this concept where you can force them around the map, and they don't understand the implications, they're going to chase you 100% of the time. They're going to run after you, try to kill you because you're a snowballing core, or try to kill you because you're basically just taking their objectives. So what I recommend is, my first point that I want to make, is that when you're snowballing as a mid laner, try to force an objective on the opposite side of the map of your safe laner. Now, of course, you can gank their lane. That's beneficial as well, right? If they're having a really hard lane, and the enemy is going to take your tower and there's nothing you can do about it, and maybe you're a hero that doesn't trade, such as Ember Spirit, or even Monkey King for this case, then ganking the enemy off lane is the play, right? Then that will create this space. However, a lot of the time, let's say your safe lane is getting absolutely crushed, try to make a play on the opposite side of the map and drag the enemy team away from your safe laner, away from your farming core, even if it's your off laner, right? Drag them away. The point is, you're looking to create space, not create havoc for your safe laner. In addition, as I go back to this 11-minute fight, I want to talk about why is this not helpful, right? Because a lot of people here have the misconception, even my teammates for this reason, have this misconception that they need to come over and help me here. Like, them shifting over mid and taking mid fights with me is how to help me snowball my advantage, right? I'm having a good game. They know this, right? I've been expressive. So in their minds, they're like, okay, if we fight with our Monkey King, or if we shift to when he's getting ganked and play in the mid lane, this is going to help him. And the reason why I really need to separate my two ideas, one being that you should 4-man down a lane, and the other being this gap creation in the map. Now I'm going to be talking about gap creation. So first off, if you're a hero that can force the objective and can't gank necessarily well, then you want to try to play away from your safe laner. That idea will work very effectively with heroes such as Leshrac, Dragonite, or Death Prophet. Anyone who can really force the objective on the enemy side of the map, in terms of taking towers, I should say. However, if you are a ganking hero, such as like the Thompson heroes, I like to say, like Wex Invoker, Monkey King, Ember Spirit, any of these like high mobility ganking mid laners, if he is snowballing, what helps him make plays, if you see in his pubs, is the fact that people don't group up and force fights that way. Because what happens is, when you group up like this, my advantage, or my ability to hop around the map and take advantage of my glass cannon build, right? Because that's kind of what I went this game, right? And a lot of the times, snowballing mid laners will go somewhat of a glass cannon so that they can continue killing. But what happens if you group up with your mid laner who is snowballing but is a ganking hero, heroes such as Monkey King, Ember Spirit, even Storm Spirit per se, then you're making their game very, very hard. And what ends up happening in situations like this is I will see myself as a very strong character, right? Very strong hero on the map, probably number 1, number 2, and I'll want to fight, right? Because that's what I want to do. However, because they have 4 heroes and the enemy team understands how big of a threat or a kill bounty I am, they're going to expend everything on me. I'm going to die, and even if we get a return kill or 2, it won't matter. It's going to throw off your Snowballing hero's tempo. It's going to make your game and your mid laner's game even harder because they're going to tilt, right? They always tilt, mid laners always tilt. More importantly, you're not opening up on the map for them. Setting up a 2-1-2 setup or a 1-1-3 and leaving your safe laner alone is very beneficial for a hero like Monkey King and Ember Spirit because they can run around the map. You see, after we kind of finally break up this mid lane, then I'm able to start making plays around the map, right? As I skip ahead, I can force a fight here, kill off the lone druid. Even then, my team's grouping up here mid, and I don't like this, right? I don't think it's bad or securing the mid tower. That's not a terrible play, right? Securing mid tower as 4 is okay. However, once again, we can't pressure this jug. I'd rather them just go run at the jug and let me take the mid tower alone. And that's where you're going to see me TP bottom here. I just want to spread out the map. My goal here is to make the enemy team spread out. Because what a Monkey King and a hero like Ember Spirit love doing is hopping around and getting solo pickoffs on enemies that just can't deal with your speed. They can't keep up with the tempo. But the problem is now that my teammate's mid and my Oracle's mid and he's unable to help with bottom, they can see me and dodge. But what ends up happening if they're pressuring the bottom lane and I'm quick with my rotations, then them getting gone on in a bottom lane after when I have TP up is super beneficial, right? If I have TP up, I can make a play in the side lanes very easy. But if I TP to the side lanes to try to defend, then it's hard for me to defend my Oracle, right? I think he gets gone on here. Don't believe he dies, but the point's still there. Okay, he does actually die, and it's a little bit hard for me to respond. I'm able to pick up a kill on the lone druid. That's kind of like a side point, right? I don't want to be getting these kills. I'd rather my team go run at the jug and have my Bat Rider in the jug lane, right? Because if Bat Rider is in the jug lane, what can jug not do? And that's spin TP out. Because Bat Rider is constantly sitting in the mid lane and away from the Juggernaut, even though it might not seem like Bat Rider can directly pressure Juggernaut, he pseudo can, because if I ever gank that lane then, there is kill threat. However, if he's not there, there's 0 kill threat on the hero, right? Because he can spin TP. So if you're a hero like Slaughter or Bat Rider, how you pressure Jug out of lane and pressure him off his farming patterns is by following him, basically. But what this Bat Rider is doing here is kind of grouping up, and this doesn't help me, right? This doesn't help me snowball. It doesn't help us prevent the Jug from catching back up. So really, it just sets everyone behind, and it halts the progression, right? Finally, Bat TP's in now, but now the Jug is disengaging. And in fact, I was going to go defend and help my Oracle, but because the Bat TP's in and isn't set up, the Jug can just walk away. Unless he Omni Slashes and dies. Just kidding, he actually doesn't die. Until he walks back in, it dies. Obviously, that's just the Jug's fault. But the point stands, right? If Bat Rider is sitting in this Jug's lane, and Jug ever wants to pressure the tier 2, he straight up can't. Right? Jug should have disengaged in there and not die, right? Like, and then this really would have put us behind, because then the Meatbo's farming. So hopefully you get the point, right? If the Jug's a good player and doesn't die there, Meatbo's farming, I'm wasting my time. I don't want to farm with this build, right? I'm Deso Medallion. I'm not farming. That's not my goal here. I want to fight. So my teammates need to understand that setting up plays on the map should not involve just playing with your snowballing hero, but rather playing for your snowballing hero. And you really need to conceptualize that, please. If you're a ganking hero, do not say, I need to play with my mid laner. Say, I'm going to set up here, and if you ever rotate over, we can get a kill. Like, let them know. Let them know. The Spatter is just saying, okay, I'm ready to set up for this Jug. I'm going to play aggressive. Maybe I'll force this Omni Slash or bait it. And I'm going to be in position to lasso so that you can TP in. That will make my life super easy. Now, of course, this game goes fine. I absolutely crushed Meatball, you know. Wow. So amazing. But hopefully this is helpful for you guys. I just kind of want to rant a little bit about this topic because I think it's something people don't really understand, or at least aspects of it. So hopefully this helped. I typically don't do giga educational stuff like this here on this channel. It's typically like semi-educational or tier list based or opinion based, but this is very factual, educational Dota, and yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like the video so I know if I should be doing more of these type of like ranty educational stuff or not. And last but not least, leave a comment down below if there's any educational topic in particular that you would like to see me do. I do read your guys' comments, no joke. I honestly do, and I like reading them. So I've been writing a bunch of ideas down. A few in particular I have here on my notes are a Roche video. I have another top lanes video, another meta video. So I write them down, and I'd really like to hear what you guys are interested in, because it helps me gauge what the community wants. So thank you guys for watching again, and I'll see you in the next video.